guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my monthly reading wrap up. I have read quite a bit in this month. I don't know why. I feel like it's because I got a Kindle that now I'm reading books really fast. Like usually on average I read 5 to 8 books I feel like every month. I've read 11 so far. Obviously it doesn't matter how many books you read a month. I am very proud of how many books I read and how many good books I read this month. I'm filming this on the 29th, so I have today, tomorrow, and Wednesday to read still, so I could possibly finish a book, but I'll address that at the end, what book I'm reading. Without further ado, let's get into what I read this month. The entire off-campus series by Elle Kennedy. This is a book talk classic. I feel like everyone on Book Talk has read this. This is a hockey romance series that takes place in college, and each book follows a different couple, so they're interconnected standalones, with the 5th book being a sort of epilogue of all the couples that we see in the series. Can't believe I hadn't read it earlier, but to be honest with you, I did not want to get these books in physical form because the covers of the old ones were not for me. Like, I did not like them at all. When I saw that they were getting new covers, I was like, now is my time to get them. The first book in this series is The Deal. This is probably the most famous and most well-loved book. I read this, I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite of the series. Hot take. I know, hot take. This one follows Garrett and Hannah. And Garrett is like the star hockey player. Like, he is probably the most well-loved on the campus and on the hockey team. Hannah is a music major and she is kind of pining after this guy in her class. Garrett needs a tutor in order to pass a class, and Hannah is like really smart. So she ends up tutoring him, and in return, they get to sort of like fake date or fake be together in order for her to try and get the attention of her crush. I gave this one a 4 stars. I really liked it. I really enjoyed the journey that we went on with Garrett and Hannah's relationship. I thought Garrett was a really good book boyfriend, and I really thought that the way they were friends and then turned that into a relationship was really heartwarming. I really liked it. So Hannah as a character had so much like depth, and just the way she could fully trust Garrett in order for her to open up to him. I can see why it's everyone's favorite. That is the first one of the series. Then I moved on to The Mistake, which is the second book. So this one follows Logan and Grace, and Logan is sort of this like player. They like meet and almost like hook up, whatever. And then Logan like can't stop thinking about her. It's basically that. So he's like really pining after her, which I love. This one was my favorite of the series. I loved this, and I feel like it's a hot take. I feel like all the time I see people being like, The Mistake was so hard to get through. I really could not get through The Mistake. I really didn't even like it. Like, I don't like John. Look, hey, I completely disagree with you. I don't know what it was about it, but I had such visceral reactions. I felt like John Logan was one of the most perfect book boyfriends I have read in like a college romance. And I felt like I could relate to Grace on certain levels. Logan's backstory with his entire family actually made me sob. Like, I was crying. I felt so much when I read this story. I had so many reactions, from crying to laughing to having a freak out over John Logan. Like, I'm in love with him. So I feel like this book just made me feel so much that it's my favorite. I really liked the plot when something happens, and seeing that after, like, I was like, oh my god, John Logan, like, hello. I was like, John Logan, oh my god, stop. Really was like, you're the man for me, you're perfect for me, like, hand in marriage maybe, I don't know. I highly recommend this one so much. I recommend this entire series, but this one is perfection to me. I gave this one a 4.5. I loved it, and that's all I have to say. Get on it. Like, get on that one. That one, oh my god, so underrated. Throughout my reading experience, I really was excited for Dean's story. I just felt like he was going to be the one for me. Honestly, so shocked that I love this one as much. So really going into the score, it had high, like, okay, how is this one gonna be better than Mistake? And I really was excited for Dean. So as you can tell, the score is Dean's story. And Allie is Hannah's best friend from the first book. I was so excited to get into it. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna love it. It's my least favorite book that follows a couple. Not my least favorite book in the series. I gave this one a 3.5. Maybe it was because my expectations were so high. I really thought I was going to love Dean and Dean's story. I love them as characters, I really do. I just felt like their story didn't resonate with me. The end of this book will stick with me because something happens that is so incredibly sad that I'm like, okay. I'll sob on the floor. I feel like the relationship to me wasn't as deep and emotional as I wanted it. Like, there were some points in this book that I was like, oh my god, they're soulmates, like I love them so much. And then other parts I was like, okay, like when are we gonna get going? Like, I felt like it was a little slow in some parts. I just didn't connect with it. It wasn't my favorite. That might be my own fault, and I had too big of expectations, so that might be my fault. We can say it's my fault, everyone. We can. The fourth book in this series is The Goal. This follows John Tucker and Sabrina. Now, we see Sabrina throughout the other books, and she's kind of not showed in the best light in certain parts. Yeah, this book 8 was everything I wanted, okay? This is my second favorite book in the series. It honestly sometimes could tie with The Mistake. The Johns of the Off-Campus series seriously need more respect on their name, because tell me why no one talks about them. I feel like I never hear anyone talk about the Johns of Off-Campus. They're so underrated. Like, John Tucker, oh my god. It follows them, they have a one-night stand, something happens, it changes their entire life, if you get what I'm saying. Their romance was done so well. Like, I felt like John Tucker, when I think about the things that he said to Sabrina, because she like really is driven by her work, driven by school, driven by success. So she's pretty dedicated and doesn't really want to form a real relationship because it takes a lot of time that she really doesn't have the time for. And John Tucker is literally pining after her. Love it. Like, the way this was done was incredible. I gave this one a 4.25. Their growth that they had, it was so good. This one is my second favorite of the series. I don't even know what else to say to you. It's amazing. Read it. Last one of the series is The Legacy. This is the epilogue novel that contains all of their POVs. I liked it. It was a great way to say goodbye to the characters. I gave it a 3 stars. It was fun. Do I wish that Grace and Logan had something more? I did. Like, I don't know, I felt like I wanted more from their chapter, but I'm not gonna complain. Hannah and Gareth was so cute, a little stressful, but it was so cute. It's definitely my least favorite of the series just because it didn't have like so much depth because we already knew all the characters, but I liked it. It was good. In entirety, I would say I do recommend the Off-Campus series. I really enjoyed it. If you're looking to get into hockey romances or if you're looking to get into reading, this is a great series. They're so quick and easy and fun. Then I moved on to another series, the Gold Rush Ranch series by Elsie Silver. So let's start with the first one. The first one is Off to the Races. This one follows Billy and Vaughn. Tropes of this one are boss and employee, small town romance, sports with racing, like horse racing. I really enjoyed the story. I gave it a 3.75. It was really fun to read. I felt like the connection between Billy and Vaughn was done great, and seeing Vaughn's growth as a character was also amazing. Seeing him work through some of his past. I feel like Elsie Silver really has it down with small town romance. I feel like she's the queen of small town romance. Sue me. Like, I feel like no one else does small town romance like Elsie Silver. There were so many quotes in this book that I found myself really loving. Then I moved on to the second book, A Photo Finish. This one follows Cole and Violet. Violet is the sister of the men of Chestnut Springs, and Cole is Vaughn's brother. The plot of this one really got me. It was so entertaining. Violet, a couple years ago, decided that she wanted to post on a forum, and it got the attention of a man, and they started messaging. They had this messaging relationship until something happened and they stopped messaging. Turns out that the person she was messaging was Cole. Shocked and appalled. I was like, oh my god. Like, it sounded so good. So that's why I really was excited to get into this one. I ate this book up left and right. I devoured it. This is a 5-star read. I think about these characters a lot. Like, I really do. Cole and Violet, their relationship was perfect to me. Violet seems to be shy. Like, she stands up for herself when need be. She knows what she deserves. Cole, one of the best bookmen I've ever read about. Do I say that with every bookman I ever read? Probably, okay? I sobbed at this book. It's a romance. Is it ever supposed to be that serious where I sob? I don't know. He cared about her so incredibly much that it made me feel like the most single person alive. He just really was so hard on himself throughout this entire story because he's going through a lot. Grew as a character throughout this story, and it was so heartbreaking to hear the way he talked about himself and how he thought people perceived him, perceived so differently than who he actually is on the inside. If you've read this book, the messages, that's all I have to say. That's what made me cry in the story. Love. Okay, next, I'm not going to talk about this for so long because you guys have heard me rave about this book. I did reread Losers by Harley LaRue. You might be wondering, Maddie, that was literally just in your December wrap up and you're already rereading it? Yes. I never stop thinking about these characters. This duet is like the Addicted Calloway Sister series and Boys of Tolman series, okay? That's how much I think about these characters. I think they're real, and I also think I want to join. Anyways, I annotated it. That's why I wanted to reread it. I had such a fun time. Being back in the universe with some of your favorite characters is the best thing ever. It's why I want to start rereading this year. This is my year of rereads. Obviously, this is a 5-star read. I don't need to like get into it again. This is one of my faves. If you want a dark romance, why choose? This is the book for you. Then I read Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I literally read this in one sitting. I gave this book a 3 stars. One of those romances where I enjoy it, but nothing further. I don't think about the characters. I don't think about the book too often, but I would completely recommend to people who want like a cowboy romance. It follows Clementine and Luke. It is a brother's best friend trope. Some parts were a little boring to me, and I felt like the connection between the two characters wasn't as strong as I thought it would be. I would recommend it if you're looking for a cute rom-com or if you're looking for a small town romance cowboy, but will I be getting the rest of the series? You betcha. You betcha, because if there's one thing about me, even if I feel pretty average about a book, I'll get the rest of the series. Like, you don't have to twist my arm. It was like a little bit spicier than I thought it would be. The whiskey scene was quite literally jaw dropped on the floor. I was like, why was I not expecting that? And the last book that I read was Praise by Sarah Kate. This is the first book in the Delicious Players Club series. I literally finished it last night, and might I say I had such a fun time reading this. It could be a 4 stars. Okay, guys, I really enjoyed it. Age gap, boss employee, ex-boyfriend's dad trope. I felt like the connection between the two characters was done so well, and the way you could just see them starting to form a relationship. Usually third act conflicts really make me upset because I feel like they come out of nowhere, but this one you knew was really gonna come. Couldn't be annoyed because it's a tough situation all around. Really loved Emerson. The way he cared for Charlie was amazing, and you could just tell that he had such a deep love for her. The way he cared about her family as well was amazing. Really felt deeply about the connection between Emerson and his son as well. Their growth as well throughout the story almost made me cry. It's so sweet to see how their relationship progresses. I'm excited to get into the rest of it. That is that book. I am currently starting the second book in the Delicious Players Club series, which is Eyes on Me, but that'll be in my February reading wrap up. That is the end of this video. I had such a fun reading month. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below, and subscribe if you want to see more of my face and more of my videos, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one.